If you don't know what you want, you're already losing. You're drifting, not driving. You're floating in circles while others fly. Life does not reward the uncertain. It does not hand out success to those who kind of want it. The world moves for those who are definite, determined, and unshakably clear. So the first demand life makes of you is this: what do you want? And the moment you answer that with brutal clarity, something changes. The fog lifts. The path reveals itself. Your energy aligns. You stop wasting time on what doesn't matter, and every breath begins to count. This is not poetry, it's power. A scattered mind achieves nothing, but a focused mind, it moves mountains. Do not just wish for it. Desire it like your life depends on it. Want it with a heat so strong your own fear gets burned alive. That's when the magic happens. Not when you're interested, but when you're obsessed. When it consumes your thoughts, your actions, your words. You must want it so badly that every excuse dies in your presence. That's the level of intensity the world responds to. Make the decision, not next week, not when it's convenient, now. Commit like there's no plan B. Burn the boats. Refuse to look back. There is no room for hesitation in the mind of the successful. The ones who win aren't the ones with the perfect plan. They're the ones who decide quickly and with finality. Because a made-up mind is a force of nature. Once you've decided, you act. Immediately, boldly, without waiting for permission, without asking for validation. You act like it's already yours because in your mind it is. Action cures fear. Motion creates momentum. You'll never be ready. Do it anyway. Every master was once a beginner who refused to stop. And while others drown in reasons, you live in results. The average person finds 100 excuses not to start. You're not average. Excuses are worthless here. If you're tired, work tired. If you're afraid, work afraid. But work, no exception, no delay, just execution. You will fall. You will get hit. But if your desire is real, you will rise harder. You will persist, and you will keep persisting until something gives, because you won't. Persistence breaks down resistance. It's the final weapon of those who cannot be defeated. Most quitters don't fail. They surrender too early. That will not be you. Protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Negative thoughts are poison, doubters are thieves, distractions are enemies. Your mind is your battlefield, and victory begins in silence, in solitude, in the discipline of your own thinking. Fill it only with thoughts that move you forward. Keep your vision in front of you at all times. And then, live like nothing else exists but that goal. Let it drive your mornings. Let it fuel your nights. Let it become your identity. The world bows to the man or woman with relentless focus. Nothing can stop someone who knows what they want and refuses to stop until they have it. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. If you're looking for a push, this is it. If you're hoping for someone to tell you it's your time, this is it. Stop playing small. Or stop negotiating with mediocrity. Get up, get clear, get aggressive. Know what you want and go after it with everything you've got. Let me know if you'd like a version formatted for video narration, reels, or to use for performance delivery. Clarity is power. It is the spark that ignites the fire of every great achievement. Without clarity, you are moving, but you are not progressing. You are active, but you are not effective. You can work hard every single day, but if you don't know exactly what you are working for, your effort becomes scattered, your energy becomes diluted, and your results become average. Clarity is the force that takes your potential and focuses it like a laser. It separates the dreamers from the doers. It sharpens your decisions, strengthens your commitment, and silences the noise that pulls you off course. When you are clear on what you want, everything else becomes irrelevant. Distractions lose their power, opinions lose their influence, and fear loses its grip. You stop entertaining things that do not push you toward your purpose. You stop explaining yourself to people who do not matter. You stop compromising your standards to fit into a life that doesn't belong to you. Clarity gives birth to certainty, and certainty creates the boldness to act without hesitation. The world will always try to shake you, confuse you, and redirect you, but when your mind is clear, you become unshakable. You begin to walk with a different level of confidence. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are no longer hoping things work out. You are moving like it is already done, because in your mind, it is. Clarity breeds belief. And belief, when followed by action, moves mountains, but you don't get clarity by waiting. You don't get it by hoping it appears. You get clarity by deciding. You make a decision that this is what you want. This is who you are. This is what you are committed to building no matter what. And once that decision is made, you don't negotiate with your past. You don't apologize for your ambition. You don't shrink to fit anyone's comfort zone. You lock in. You eliminate doubt. You silence distractions. You stop chasing everything and start chasing one thing with relentless focus. That's how clarity becomes power. It turns your life into a mission. Every action has intention behind it. Every word you speak carries direction. Every step you take leads somewhere that matters. People who lack clarity live in reaction. They bounce from one thing to the next, constantly searching but never finding. They are pulled by trends, distracted by noise, and buried in confusion. They look busy but go nowhere. They work hard but don't move forward. But when you have clarity, you are no longer reacting. You are creating. You are building. You are designing your future with precision and power. You are not waiting for a lucky break. You are creating the break with your own hands, and clarity doesn't mean comfort. It doesn't mean the path becomes easy. It means the pain becomes purposeful. The struggle becomes strategic. The setbacks become signs, not stop signs. You understand the cost and you're willing to pay it. You no longer complain about the process because you know the price of progress. You don't second-guess your path because your vision is locked in. Clarity keeps you grounded when everything around you is chaos. Clarity gives you the strength to keep going when nothing seems to be working. Clarity reminds you why you started when the obstacles try to convince you to quit. And that kind of clarity is rare. It's rare because most people won't sit still long enough to find it. They're too busy chasing approval, too distracted by comparison, too caught up in opinions that don't matter. But the ones who stop, who get silent, who look deep inside and ask, what do I really want? They are the ones who rise. Because the moment you answer that question with brutal honesty, you tap into a power that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't fade. That power becomes your compass. It drives your habits. It decides your circle. It organizes your time. It refuses to be wasted. You start saying no to the things that used to pull you off track. You stop entertaining conversations that don't match your future. You stop pretending to be someone you're not just to keep people comfortable. You become obsessed with becoming the person who gets what you're after. You wake up with fire. You move with urgency. You execute with precision. The excuses that once stopped you no longer have permission to exist in your life. Your clarity has killed them. You don't need to be motivated every day when you're clear. You don't need to be pushed when you're clear. You don't wait for inspiration, you become it. You move because you know where you're going, and that knowing becomes your fuel. You are not here to live confused. You are not here to chase 100 things and catch none. You are not here to blend in and wonder what could have been. You are here to decide, to get clear, to lock in, to move with intent and finish what you started. You are here to win, not wish. So stop waiting for clarity to appear out of thin air. Create it, carve it, claim it. Make the decision, draw the line, and never look back. Because the minute you get clear is the minute everything begins to change. Your energy shifts. Your environment reacts. Your results start bending to your will. And suddenly you're not hoping for success anymore. You're expecting it. You're earning it. You're becoming it. That's what happens when clarity becomes your power. Desire must be a fire, not a flicker, not a spark, but a relentless blaze that consumes every doubt, every excuse, every obstacle that stands between you and the life you demand. This is not about casual interest. It's not about wanting something when it's convenient or when it feels good. It's about wanting it so intensely that it becomes part of your identity. It's not just something you wish for, it's something you must have. Something you're willing to bleed for, sacrifice for, fight for, until your hands are raw and your mind is exhausted. The ones who make it to the top, who shift history, who build legacies, they don't do it on weak wishes or polite intentions. They do it because the fire inside them left no other choice. When your desire reaches that level, nothing can stop you. You stop negotiating with laziness. You stop listening to fear. You stop doubting yourself every time the road gets hard. You develop a resolve so deep that even failure starts to fear you. You become relentless because your desire has made you unstoppable. It burns in your chest when you wake up. It keeps you alive when you're tired. It's the reason you get up after being knocked down. That fire will be tested. It will be questioned. Life will throw everything at it. Disappointment, rejection, setbacks, losses. But if your desire is real, the fire grows stronger. It doesn't shrink. It expands. It feeds on adversity. It learns from failure. It adapts, adjusts, and accelerates. Most people lose because their desire was never a fire in the first place. It was a flicker of interest, a soft wish that disappeared the moment things got hard. But if the fire is real, if it's alive inside of you, it will carry you through what talent and luck never could. It will push you forward when your body is broken and your spirit is tired. It will remind you that you're not done yet, that the fight is still yours, that the dream still breathes, and if that fire is there, you won't need anyone to motivate you. You won't need anyone to remind you why you started. The fire will remind you. The vision will haunt you. The life you see in your mind will not let you sleep until it becomes your reality. You'll stop saying someday and start saying now. You'll stop waiting for signs and start creating your own path. You'll stop needing a perfect plan because your desire will fuel your action, and your action will create the way. Every excuse will look small next to your hunger. Every doubt will collapse under your will. You'll work longer, think sharper, fight harder, not because you're forced to, but because the fire inside won't let you quit. That's the difference between those who try and those who take. Those who try are lukewarm. Those who take are on fire. Desire is the root of all achievement. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not opportunity. It's desire, backed by faith and followed by action. You don't get to the top by being interested. You get there by being obsessed. When your desire becomes obsession, the world starts moving differently. Time feels different. Days feel shorter. You begin to operate on a different frequency. You stop living like everyone else because you're not thinking like everyone else. You're no longer entertained by the things that used to distract you. You're no longer satisfied with average. You don't just want the dream. You feel insulted by the thought of not reaching it. You don't chase comfort. You chase fire. You wake up every day with a mission, and every part of you is aligned with that mission. Desire turns weakness into strength. It turns fear into courage. It turns excuses into execution. You begin to realize that nothing is impossible when your want is stronger than your fear. You stop hiding from your potential. You stop avoiding the difficult steps. You walk straight into the fire because you know it's the only way to forge the version of you that your future requires. The fire doesn't just get you there. It transforms you along the way. It melts away doubt. It burns through distraction. It shapes you into someone worthy of the dream. Every late night, every early morning, every rejection, every failure, your desire turns them all into fuel. While others slow down, you speed up. While others complain, you adapt. While others quit, you endure. Because your fire will not let you stop, you have to want it more than anyone thinks you should. You have to want it when no one claps for you, when no one believes in you, when nothing seems to be working. You have to want it when you're broke, when you're tired, when you're scared. You have to want it with a fire so intense that your pain becomes fuel, your fear becomes motivation, and your struggle becomes sacred. When the fire is real, you are not moved by circumstances, you are moved by purpose. When the fire is real, you don't need to feel good to keep going, you just keep going. When the fire is real, nothing can hold you back. This isn't about hype, this is about hunger. This is about looking at your life, looking at your time, looking at your vision, and refusing to waste any more of it. This is about burning the excuses, burning the comfort zone, burning every bridge back to a life that no longer serves you. This is about moving forward like your soul is on fire. Because if you're going to win, if you're going to build, if you're going to dominate, that desire inside of you has to burn hotter than the doubt, louder than the fear, stronger than the failure. It has to be a fire that never goes out to side without fear. Make the choice, plant your flag, and never look back. Indecision is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't show up with a loud crash. It creeps in quietly, hiding behind logic and caution, convincing you that waiting is wisdom and hesitation is safety. But the truth is, every time you hesitate, you surrender a piece of your power. Every time you pause because of fear, you trade your progress for comfort. You cannot win that way. You cannot build anything great when your choices are shackled by doubt. You must decide like your future depends on it, because it does. Success favors the bold, not the timid. It honors the ones who choose with certainty and act with conviction. The world steps aside for the man or woman who knows exactly what they want and moves like nothing can stop them. Fear will try to talk you out of it. It will tell you the timing isn't right. It will bring up the past, point out every failure, magnify every risk, and whisper that maybe you're not ready. But you must understand, fear is not there to protect you. It's there to test you. It shows up at the edge of every breakthrough. It stands guard at the entrance of every next level, and the only way past it is through decision. A firm, final decision backed by unshakable resolve. You don't need every detail figured out. You don't need everyone's approval. You don't need to feel ready. What you need is to decide that no matter how uncomfortable it gets, you are going forward. To decide that failure is not fatal. To decide that your dream is worth more than your fear. There is a moment in every person's life when they are called to step up, a moment that separates the ones who wish from the ones who win. And that moment is always marked by decision, not just a choice, but a commitment. A line drawn in the sand that says, I'm not going back. I'm not stalling. I'm not waiting for perfect. I'm moving now. That kind of decision creates momentum. It changes your chemistry. It rewires your mindset. You begin to walk differently, talk differently, think differently, not because anything outside has changed, but because you changed on the inside. That shift comes from clarity and courage, and both are born in the moment you decide without fear. Fear feeds on time. The more you hesitate, the stronger it grows. The more you think about all that could go wrong, the more paralyzed you become. That's why the successful move quickly. They don't allow fear to settle. They know that hesitation is where dreams go to die. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and move anyway. They make the decision while others are still making excuses. They understand that progress is not about perfection. It's about momentum. It's about taking the next step even if you're unsure, because forward is always better than stuck. Every great move you make in your life will begin with a decision you were scared to make, but you made it anyway, and that's what made you grow. Most people are waiting for certainty, waiting for signs, waiting for someone to say it's okay to begin. But the truth is, there is no right time. There is only right now. The opportunity doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards those who decide they're done with waiting. Waiting is safe. Waiting is easy. Waiting is familiar. But waiting is a trap. It feels like patience, but it's really procrastination in disguise. If you want to win, you must step out of the crowd and make the call that others are too scared to make. Decide without fear. Decide with purpose. Decide with the mindset that you are built to handle whatever comes next. You must stop overthinking. Stop playing the worst-case scenario in your mind over and over again. Fear lives in that loop, and the longer you let it run, the more real it becomes. But when you cut through it with a firm decision, you interrupt the pattern. You reclaim control. You tell your mind that you are in charge now, that from this moment forward, you are no longer a prisoner of what-ifs. You are a commander of what's next. That mindset changes your world. People feel it when you walk into a room. Life responds to it. Opportunities begin to appear, not because they weren't there before, but because you weren't ready to see them. But now you've decided, and the world takes notice. Make the decision. Own it. Back it up with action. The strength of your decision will be tested, but that's how you grow. You don't grow in comfort. You grow when you stand firm in uncertainty and say, I'm going anyway. The storm will come, and you will keep moving. The doubt will whisper, and you will stay focused. The fear will try again, and you will ignore it. Because once you've decided, you don't owe fear anything. You owe your dream everything. That kind of power doesn't come from talent or resources. It comes from a heart that refuses to be ruled by fear, a mind that refuses to bow to doubt, a spirit that has made up its mind to rise no matter what. Do not wait for everything to be perfect. Do not wait until you have every answer. Do not let fear hold the pen when it comes to writing the next chapter of your life. Decide now, decide strong, decide with fire, because nothing changes until you do. And once you decide without fear, you will unlock a version of yourself that fear was trying to keep buried. You will rise, you will grow, and you will move forward like nothing can stop you. Because nothing can, and nothing will act like it's already yours. Move, think, speak, and carry yourself like the outcome is no longer in question. This isn't about arrogance. It's about belief. It's about stepping into your vision with such absolute certainty that everything around you begins to adjust. Your mind adjusts. Your body adjusts. Your behavior aligns with the goal because in your reality, you've already arrived. You're not wishing anymore. You're not doubting. You're walking like the door is already open. You're preparing like the opportunity is already in motion. You're grinding like the reward is just waiting for you to catch up. That level of belief is not optional. It's necessary. Because until you claim it in your mind, you'll never hold it in your hands. The world responds to conviction. People follow those who move like they know where they're going. Life opens up for those who lead themselves. When you act like it's already yours, you stop shrinking. You stop second-guessing. You stop asking for permission. You show up different. You speak with clarity. You train with intensity. You make decisions faster. You carry responsibility like you've already proven you can handle it. There's a shift in your energy. And energy doesn't lie. You don't need to scream it. You don't need to broadcast it. But everything about how you move tells the world that you're not here to try. You're here to take you begin to notice something powerful. Things that once intimidated you no longer shake you. Conversations that once made you nervous now feel like routine. The doubt you used to carry starts to disappear because you've stepped into alignment. The mind is leading, the body is following, and everything inside you is operating as if the goal is already complete. That mindset is dangerous. It makes you relentless. It makes you disciplined. It forces your habits to elevate because the standard you live by has changed. You no longer move like you're trying to prove something. You move like it's already done, and you're just putting the final pieces in place. When you act like it's already yours, you stop giving energy to what might go wrong. You stop entertaining worst-case scenarios. You stop waiting for outside validation. You trust the process, but more importantly, you trust yourself. You understand that it's not a matter of if, but when. You're not trying to fit in anymore. You're building something that can't be ignored. You start preparing differently. You don't practice halfway. You don't show up with partial effort. You show up like a champion who knows their time is now. You train, study, execute like your future is counting on you to keep going. Fear loses power in this mindset. It may still exist, but it no longer decides your behavior. You no longer need everything to be perfect to act. You act first, adjust second. Because champions don't wait for green lights. They run the play. They move first. They speak first. They volunteer first. They go all in while others are still thinking about it. The difference isn't in talent. It's in posture. It's in attitude. It's in the way they step into the room. There's a presence, a weight, a confidence that can't be faked. And it only comes when you've already seen it in your mind 1,000 times before it ever happened. This mindset becomes your edge. It gives you speed. It gives you control. It makes you magnetic to the opportunities you once thought were out of reach. It places you on a frequency where hesitation can't survive. And most people won't understand it. They'll call it confidence. They'll call it delusion. But you'll know it's alignment, it's intention. It's the quiet force of someone who has made a decision, burned the excuses, and started walking like the path was already laid out. And as you continue to move like it's already yours, you begin to become that person in real time. You don't become successful and then start acting successful. You act successful, and your habits make you successful. You don't wait until you're powerful to speak with power. You speak with power, and it becomes your norm. You don't wait until the bank account is full to manage your life like a leader. You manage it now. You don't wait for applause to validate your purpose. You validate it by how you show up when no one is clapping. That's the secret most people miss. The outer world is just a reflection of the inner world. And when your inner world believes it's already done, the outer world begins to follow. You have to lead yourself before anything else will. You have to walk in faith before results show up. You have to plant the seed before anything grows. Acting like it's already yours doesn't mean you skip the work. It means the work becomes sacred. You pour yourself into it. You give more, not less. You push harder, not softer, because in your mind, this is what winners do. This is what the next version of you demands. So that's who you become. Every step forward is not random, it's deliberate. Every action is not hopeful, it's strategic. You are not hoping to make it. You are preparing to receive what's already on the way. This is where the shift happens. This is where average people fall back and focused people rise. This is where doubt dies and destiny takes its place. Because you're no longer wishing, you're no longer wondering. You've decided, you've committed, you've aligned. And now you're acting like it's already yours. That's how you move mountains. That's how you bend reality, that's how you win. No excuses, only execution. That is the mindset of the unstoppable. That is the attitude of the one who refuses to be denied. Excuses are the language of the defeated, the shield of the uncommitted, the comfort of those who settle for less. But when you decide that excuses no longer belong in your vocabulary, your life begins to shift, because execution is the only thing that produces results. Not dreams, not talk, not plans. Execution. What gets done is what changes your life. What gets done is what builds your legacy. The moment you drop every excuse and replace it with action, you become dangerous. You become the one who follows through no matter what. You become the one who produces results even when it's inconvenient, even when it's painful, even when no one is watching. Every excuse has a story. It sounds logical. It feels reasonable, but it's still a barrier between you and the life you were born to live. Excuses will try to justify your delay. They will try to make you feel okay about not showing up. They will whisper that it's hard, that it's not the right time, that you're not ready yet. But the truth is, you are ready the moment you decide to be. You are powerful the moment you refuse to be held back. You are dangerous the moment you kill the excuses and choose to execute regardless of how you feel. The ones who make it are not always the most talented. They are the ones who got it done. They are the ones who found a way when there was no way. They are the ones who didn't waste time explaining why they couldn't. They just did. Execution has no room for excuses. The goal doesn't care how tired you are. The vision doesn't pause because your motivation is low. The mission doesn't shrink to match your comfort. You either execute or you don't. You either do the work or you make excuses for why you didn't. It's one or the other, never both. You can't build greatness on a foundation of justifications. You can only build on discipline, consistency, and relentless action. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more inspiration. You need more execution. You need to take the plan that's been sitting in your head and bring it to life with focused daily action. You already know what to do. You already have enough to start. The only thing standing in the way is your willingness to do it. That's the part most people never get past. They prepare, but they don't act. They hope, but they don't move. They talk, but they don't build. And the years go by, and the dream fades. And regret shows up with the truth that it didn't have to be that way. All it would have taken was execution. Consistent, unapologetic execution. Day after day without waiting for perfect conditions. If you can do that, if you can discipline yourself to do what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not, you become unstoppable. You don't get extra credit for having a hard life. You don't get rewarded for having a good plan. Life only rewards what you execute. Your background doesn't matter. Your situation doesn't define you. What you do with it is all that counts. Nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to chase you down to make your dream happen. You either rise and make it real, or you don't. That's why execution matters more than anything else. Because when it's time to show what you've built, excuses won't show up for you. Only your results will. Your habits, your focus, your discipline, those are the only things that will stand as proof that you did what you said you would do. You don't need more time. You need more commitment. The hours are already there. The problem isn't the schedule. The problem is the excuses. The time spent scrolling, the time spent avoiding, the time spent talking yourself out of taking action. That's where the dream dies. You think you're waiting, but really you're wasting. Every minute spent explaining why you can't is a minute you could have used proving that you can. Every day you delay is a day you could have used building momentum. And momentum is everything. It doesn't take massive action all at once. It takes consistent execution without excuses. Brick by brick, task by task, day by day. That's how empires are built. Discipline is doing it whether you feel like it or not. Success doesn't care about your feelings. Results don't wait for inspiration. Execution is cold. It's clear. It's consistent. It doesn't care about your mood, your past, or your reasons. It cares only about what gets done. So start showing up different. Start moving like someone who's done negotiating with excuses. Be the one who can be counted on. Be the one who produces. Be the one who doesn't flinch when it's time to execute. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you rise in a world full of talkers and wishers and almosts. You execute. Period. You owe it to yourself to be great. You owe it to your future to rise above every excuse and become the version of you that gets it done. There is no other way. There is no shortcut, just discipline, just effort, just focused execution when no one's cheering and no one's watching. Because you're not doing it for applause, you're doing it because the vision demands it. You're doing it because greatness doesn't come to those who make excuses. It comes to those who show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not, and execute without compromise. No excuses, only execution. That's the code. That's the standard. That's the way you win. Persist relentlessly. When others stop, you continue. When the crowd turns back, you move forward. When the voices of doubt get louder, you dig deeper. There is no greatness without persistence. The path is never smooth. The climb is never easy. And that's exactly why persistence matters. It is not the man who starts the fastest who wins. It is the one who refuses to stop. You must outlast the pain, outwork the excuses, and outfight the doubt. Because every dream worth chasing will try to break you before it blesses you. The test is not in your ability to begin, but in your resolve to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. Quitting is always an option. It's always right there. It's the easiest choice in the world. But once you make it, it becomes your identity. Every time you quit, it gets easier to walk away the next time. That's why you must persist relentlessly. You keep moving even if it's slow. You keep showing up even if no one claps. You keep fighting even if the odds are against you. Because you weren't built for comfort, you were built for progress. And progress only happens when you refuse to surrender. It's not talent that wins the game, it's grit. It's the fire to keep pushing when the dream looks impossible and the results aren't showing, yet the world is full of people who started strong and stopped when it got hard. But you're not one of them. You know that the breakthrough always comes after the breakdown. You understand that pain is part of the process. You embrace the pressure because it's shaping something inside you that can't be taken away. When you persist relentlessly, your mind becomes sharper, your will becomes stronger, your purpose becomes unshakable. The storm doesn't stop you, it strengthens you. The resistance doesn't block you, it builds you. And every step you take under pressure becomes proof that you are worthy of what you're chasing. Most people give up too soon. They stop at almost. They quit at 90%. They collapse when they're one move away from a breakthrough. But not you. You persist past the limits. You push through the silence. You endure the weight. Because you know that persistence turns time into a weapon. Every day you continue is another brick in the foundation of success. Every effort, every sacrifice, every setback overcome adds weight to your momentum. The people who win are not those who never failed. They are the ones who refuse to let failure be the end of the story. They turned every obstacle into fuel. They used every rejection as a reason to push harder. They outlasted the excuses, outpaced the doubters, and stayed in the fight long enough to win. There is no magic formula. There is no perfect strategy. There is only action. And the only way that action leads to victory is through relentless repetition, doing the work when it's boring, showing up when it's thankless, grinding when no one sees you. That's what separates winners from everyone else. It's not that they had better conditions. It's not that they had more support. It's that they decided no matter what happens, they would not stop. They would not break. They would not back down. They would persist until the goal bowed to their will. And you must do the same. You must keep moving like your life depends on it. Because it does, there will be moments when you question yourself. There will be days when everything in you screams to take the easy road. That's when persistence matters most. That's when you hold the line. That's when you double down on your vision and push even harder. Because the ones who persist through the dark are the ones who shine in the light. The struggle is a necessary chapter. The waiting is a test of your character. The delay is not denial. It's a demand for deeper commitment. And every time you choose to persist, you prove that you are not ordinary. You prove that you are built to rise when you persist relentlessly. You train yourself to focus on the mission, not the mood. You stop measuring by feelings and start measuring by progress. You don't care about how long it takes. You only care that you're still moving. And that mindset becomes unstoppable. It turns frustration into fuel. It turns pressure into power. It turns the impossible into inevitable. You stop looking for shortcuts because you understand the long road is where greatness is formed. You become immune to the noise, the doubt, the delay, because your mind is locked in, your heart is all in, and your soul is committed to the outcome. This is the level that few ever reach. It's where average is left behind. It's where ordinary breaks and extraordinary begins. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it is the only path to victory. So stay in motion, stay in the fight, keep pushing with everything you have. Do not stop for pain, do not stop for fear, do not stop for fatigue. Persist relentlessly, through setbacks, through failures, through loneliness, through silence, until the result matches the vision, until the life you imagine becomes the life you live, until the world sees what you saw from the beginning. Because when you persist relentlessly, you don't just chase the dream, you claim it. Guard your mind ruthlessly. Your mind is your command center. Every decision, every action, every reaction begins there. If your mind is strong, nothing can break you. If your mind is weak, nothing can save you. That's why you must treat it like sacred ground. You must protect it from doubt, from fear, from negativity, from distractions that serve no purpose but to slow you down. Most people are careless with their thoughts. They allow toxic voices, destructive opinions, and useless noise to take residence inside their heads. They scroll through nonsense, listen to people who gave up on their dreams, and wonder why they feel unmotivated. You cannot afford to be one of them. You must be intentional with what enters your mind. Every word you hear, every image you see, every thought you entertain has the power to shape your beliefs, and your beliefs dictate your behavior. If you allow weak thoughts to live inside you, they will weaken your drive. If you let doubt in, it will grow roots. If you tolerate negativity, it will poison your purpose. Your mind is soil. If you don't plant what you want, something else will grow. And that something usually works against you. You need to stop giving attention to things that don't feed your future. Stop allowing small minds to speak into your big vision. Stop letting failure define you, and start letting discipline guide you. You must become the gatekeeper. You don't just accept every opinion. You don't consume every headline. You don't follow every trend. You stand guard. You filter everything through your purpose. If it doesn't align with your goals, it doesn't get access. If it doesn't strengthen your belief, it gets rejected. You must be ruthless, because the world is relentless. It will try to fill your head with distractions, comparison, fear, and scarcity. It will try to convince you that you're not enough, that it's too late, that you should settle. And if you're not on guard, you will start to believe it. You will start to lower your standard and question your worth. You cannot let that happen. The strongest minds are not built by accident. They're built through discipline. They're built through repetition. They're built through refusing to feed weakness. When you wake up, feed your mind before you feed your body. Speak life into yourself before the world has a chance to speak anything else. Remind yourself of who you are and where you're going. Read what lifts you. Watch what sharpens you. Listen to what drives you. You don't have time for distractions. You don't have space for self-pity. You don't have room for anything that pulls you off course. You must take control of your thoughts before your thoughts take control of you. And when the wrong thoughts show up, and they will, you don't entertain them. You confront them. You replace them. You dominate them with truth. You don't sit in fear. You speak against it. You don't let insecurity linger. You remind it that you are building something greater. You don't allow failure to define you. You use it to refine you. Every day is a battle for your mind, and you win it by showing up with strength, with vision, with unshakable focus. You don't let your circumstances decide what you think. You let your mind shape your response, and your response shape your results. You must also protect your environment, because the people you allow close to you will either reinforce your mindset or destroy it. If you're around complainers, you'll start to see life through the same lens. If you're around people who quit on themselves, you'll begin to doubt your own resilience. But if you stay close to the disciplined, the focused, the driven, you will be sharpened. You will be challenged. You will be reminded that your standard must stay high no matter what. And when your mind is surrounded by strength, you'll think bigger, move faster, and rise higher every distraction, every temptation to waste time, every voice telling you to slow down. It's all an attack on your potential. You must treat it that way. You must get aggressive with your focus. You must be unapologetic about your mental clarity. You must protect your momentum like your future depends on it, because it does. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be perfect. But you do need to guard your mind like it's the source of every breakthrough you're chasing, because it is a disciplined mind leads to disciplined action. A strong mind doesn't need motivation. It creates it. A focused mind doesn't ask for direction. It builds it. When your mind is locked in, your results will follow. You won't be shaken by critics. You won't be distracted by chaos. You won't be derailed by temporary setbacks, because your mind is anchored. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself so deeply that it becomes unshakable. That's how champions are made. That's how leaders rise. That's how legacies are built. Guard your mind ruthlessly, because your destiny flows from it. And once your mind is right, your life will follow. Everything begins there. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every transformation. So protect it, feed it, sharpen it. Refuse to let it be average. Refuse to let it be soft. Refuse to let it be anything less than elite. Because once your mind is unstoppable, nothing in the world can hold you back. Become obsessed with the goal. Let it dominate your thoughts, fuel your decisions, and drive your actions. Let it consume you to the point where nothing else matters more than progress. This isn't about balance. This is about sacrifice. This is about giving everything you've got to the thing you said you wanted. If it doesn't keep you up at night or pull you out of bed early, then you don't want it bad enough. The ones who rise, the ones who break through, the ones who make history, they are not casual about their vision. They are obsessed. While others dabble, they commit. While others hope, they build. While others make excuses, they execute. Obsession is misunderstood by the average. They call it extreme. They call it unhealthy. They tell you to slow down. But those are the words of people who never broke limits. The truth is, nothing extraordinary has ever been achieved without obsession. It is the engine of champions. It is the fire that keeps burning long after motivation fades. It is the reason you keep going when everything says stop. You don't need permission to be great. You don't need approval to go all in. You just need to decide that the goal is worth everything and act like your future depends on it. Because it does. Obsession will make you uncomfortable. It will isolate you. It will separate you from the crowd. But that's where power is born. When you leave behind distraction and mediocrity, you enter the territory of the focused. You don't have time for drama. You don't waste energy on things that don't move the needle. You cut off everything that doesn't contribute to the outcome. This isn't a game. This is war on average, war on comfort, war on weakness, and you win it with obsession. You don't show up when it's convenient. You show up every day, locked in, focused, and relentless. Because that's what it takes to turn vision into victory. When you become obsessed with the goal, your mind starts working differently. You start seeing solutions where others see problems. You start creating opportunities instead of waiting for them. You stop being passive and you start becoming a force. Your entire identity aligns with the mission. The way you speak, the way you walk, the way you think, everything becomes intentional. You start measuring everything by one standard. Does it help me get closer to the goal or not? And if it doesn't, it gets cut. No emotion, no hesitation. Only purpose. You don't rise by being casual. You rise by being consistent. And consistency is born from obsession. It doesn't matter if it's hard. It doesn't matter if it's lonely. It doesn't matter if nobody believes in you. What matters is that you refuse to be denied. You set your mind like steel, and you move with the force of someone who has already decided there is no turning back. Obsession removes the option to quit. Obsession removes the excuse of time. Obsession says, I'll find a way, no matter what. When the world doubts you, obsession is what keeps you moving. When failure shows up, obsession is what keeps you locked in. You don't get what you kind of want. You get what you are obsessed with. What you think about constantly, talk about repeatedly, and pursue daily. That's what manifests. And if your actions aren't reflecting the intensity of your goal, then you're not truly obsessed. You're just interested. And interest is weak. Interest fades. Interest makes excuses. But obsession endures. Obsession outlasts the pain. Obsession outworks the competition. Obsession silences fear. It is the difference between those who start strong and those who finish unbreakable. You need to stop negotiating with your dream. Stop watering it down to fit your circumstances. Stop playing small so others feel comfortable. This is not the season to be modest. This is the season to be intense. Let people call you crazy. Let them say you're too much. Let them misunderstand your hunger. Because when the results show up, they'll understand what obsession produces. And by then, you won't need validation. You'll have victory. The vision in your mind must be so real, so clear, so urgent, that the idea of not reaching it feels like suffocation. That's the level of commitment it takes every day is a test. Every distraction is an enemy. Every delay is a decision. And when you are obsessed, you treat each moment like it counts because it does. You don't have time to waste. You don't have energy to spare. You are building something bigger than yourself, and that requires full focus. You stop chasing motivation, and you start feeding your obsession. You become a machine of execution, a force of purpose, a weapon of persistence. You don't fold under pressure, you sharpen. You don't run from the fight, you become it. This is how you separate yourself. This is how you go from average to unstoppable. Not by wishing, but by working. Not by hoping, but by obsessing. Make the goal your focus, your priority, your reason. Live it, breathe it, think it. Execute on it every single day until the world has no choice but to see what you saw from the start. Until the dream becomes real. Until the result screams louder than the doubt. Until nothing stands between you and what you set out to do. Become obsessed with the goal and let that obsession drive you all the way to the finish line. When you become obsessed with the goal, you eliminate everything that doesn't align with it. You no longer entertain distractions. You no longer seek permission. You no longer need applause. The only thing that matters is the outcome, and you are willing to pay whatever price it demands. This is where transformation happens, not in half-hearted effort, but in total commitment. The world bends to those who refuse to be denied. The dream answers those who pursue it with fire. You don't hope for success. You demand it from yourself every single day. You move like the goal is already yours. You think like the result is guaranteed, and you act like failure is not even an option. Because it isn't. You've chosen to go all in. You've chosen obsession over comfort. And now nothing can stop you. The goal is waiting. Go claim it.